here. Peekaboo, I've been here the whole time.
Minnesota, hello, hello. Oh, this is beautiful. We have a incredible day ahead of us. Yesterday was something, huh? I don't know what the results were. It was absolutely unbelievable. Now, one side of this matchup, we have the Royal Ravens. Obviously, came out flat yesterday. Result they did not want. They're looking to bounce back. On the other end of it, Paris Legion, their tournament debut. I know the crowd was getting behind them last time. We're trying to see that Cinderella story, but let's get into it. Day 2 about to kick off. Let's meet our teams. We're going to kick it off with the London Royal Ravens. Ka-ka!
There's talk about being one of the best, and then there's actually being one of the best. Now they're gonna have to prove it to stay alive.
I will say this though, Belly, it does sound like the crowd seems to be backing them here, and with this map layout, I'm looking pretty good for London Royal Ravens.
I think London's feeling good today, but what about Paris, Maven?
Paris, it's their debut, baby. I know we got Pocket over here rooting for them. I'm loving it. A team. You know, they struggled early, but they've been making the run. They've been improved. I'm excited to see what they can do today. Let's check them out. Paris Legion. Gravity, John, Timp, and Jimbo.
And the crowd is absolutely loving them.
Yeah, they become sort of fan favorites. People want to see these guys succeed. Tempest had a fantastic Major 2 so far, so I'm excited to see if he can go off in this match. But also Tom Gravity, I'm waiting for him to pop off as well. This could be the series to do it.
We got the Ravens, we got the Baguette Boys. Let's go ahead and get this game started.
Let's get it going. Day 2 about to kick off here in Minnesota. To our casters we go. Lando, Study, boys, take it away.
Thank you so much, Maeve. Yes, it is already electric right here in day 2 of our Minnesota Major as we have got the Battle of Europe to kick it off. Jay, loser of this series, they're going home top 12, baby.
Already, man. You know, obviously both of these teams, London not starting off yesterday well. They go out and every single map to me was a choke. Like they were in that first rotation of hard points, they were up by like 30 points. But once they hit that second rotation, Florida were able to chain P1, P2, P3, and P4 together. It was like 135-5 to close out that game. And then in the search and destroy, they go up 4-0. You have 0 with the glide bomb, and they lose that round. They ended up losing the search and destroy. Definitely a tough series for the London Royal Ravens yesterday, but these two teams have history. Throughout season 2, they ended up playing each other. Paris go up 2-0, but then London complete the reverse sweep. So that tells me right off the rip, the main thing that Paris needs to focus on has to be that control.
Yeah, without a doubt. As we said, London, I mean, they started off looking very solid in that opening Gavutu. As you said, not just 1, not just 2, but arguably 3 chokes on the London end, and we can already tell the crowd get behind the Paris boys. And I don't know, Jay, I just get a weird feeling about this series.
Same.
Like, I know we were coming into a few of the matches yesterday saying there could be some upset potential, but whenever we watched, right, Paris Legion play last time on LAN, I know you were bringing it up to me, right? These guys aren't actually in the same facility. So this is like their first time as a real roster now being together. We saw what it did last time to them. Can it happen again? As we'll find out what our maps and modes are looking like to kick off the day here at day number 2 of our Minnesota Major. We're starting things off with Berlin, Hardpoint, Bocage, Search and Destroy, Gavutu, Control there in the middle, followed up by Tuscan HP. And if it does come down to it, Jay, a Berlin S&D for Game 5.
Yeah, so looking at these maps and modes, the last time these guys matched up, they played a majority of these maps. The only map that's different is going to be that Berlin Search and Destroy all the way at the end. But if you go back and you remember what happened on Berlin Hardpoint, Paris Legion, they were down by like 40 to 50 points. They needed to do a good job of contesting that P1. They did that, and then eventually London, they find themselves on an early rotation towards P2. They're about 3 seconds away from closing it out, and then Temp and John just find every single kill, and then they hold down that P2 to close out the game. That was an insane start from the Paris Legion, and we're going into a Berlin once again. They're gonna have to do it once again.
Now I want you to talk to me as we take a look at the Berlin Hardpoint numbers for both of these teams. Clearly a great one for the Royal Ravens. On the other side for Paris, 2 and 5. By no means that solid. I mean, they're losing by an average of 81 points. It's not too good for the Legion end. but stress to me the importance of this game one, right? We know it for the Paris side. We always talk about these, you know, comeback stories, the Cinderella stories. It's always important to come out and really kick the other team in the teeth. On the London side, right, to choke 3 maps back to back to back, and now coming in today, really with your head turned around, what is the importance level for the Ravens to come out strong?
It's all about just starting off hot, allowing your SMGs to really just put on pressure. We know what Afro is going to do, but the player for me that has to step up has to be Nasty. Yesterday, him and Gizmo put up a combined, I'm pretty sure, 0.8s across the board. And when a player like Nasty, he has the potential to go off. We saw what he was able to do. He takes over in certain series. And I'm looking at that guy to really step up because, like I said, on the opposite side, for the Paris Legion, they're playing all across the world. So I'm expecting Jimbo to be a completely different player. His series, I mean, throughout stage 2, he's sitting at a 0.78 overall KD. Specifically in hardpoint, he's at a 0.76. I think he's going to be a completely different player today, and it's going to throw off the London Royal Ravens.
And it just feels like it's a perfect opportunity, right, for Jimbo. We saw the stats at the start of the day. I mean, Tim, he's averaged a title and a half so far throughout Vanguard. Top 10, top 5 in nearly every single category. It's just a matter of time, it feels like, before somebody fills that role, before somebody can be that second Slayer alongside Tim. If they can have that, this could be a very, very scary situation for the Ravens as we fly in for our first map of the day, Berlin, Hardpoint, Minnesota. Are you out there? I think they're here, Jay. They're here, baby.
Alrighty, Berlin Hardpoint to start us off. I know for London, the way that they see a lot of success on this map is the chain from P2 to P3. One thing that Paris really do struggle on, though, is that P5. They average about 6 points on P5, and they give up about 30. You have to do a better job this go-around. As we're going to start off with this P1, trades going back and forth. Paris Legion are spawning out towards Plat, so they are going to win the trade battle. That's going to be a clean 4 dead. Paris starting off with the early time.
And a great start as well for Simp, getting involved in the majority of these engagements. Decides to push Sean out, but as you said, buddy, Paris winning the opening engagement as they've got preferred spawns for now. 25 seconds left as London desperately look to get inside of the hard point. First player here is going to be Nasty sliding in, and just like that, Ravens rush on through, they get 4 down, and now they've got control of the hard point, and they're prepared to catch the Ravens off the spot.
Big kill coming in from John. Huge rotation gunfight as Temp finds the second now. Zero's gonna be the only player here. He gets taken down, and would look like the Ravens were gonna be fully set up off that rotation. Paris Legion are able to break in from that street side. So now, London trying to break through the back warehouse. See Afro, he's gonna go through the route through back boat. But Gravity, he picks up a huge kill onto Gizmo to not allow those spawns to flip.
Nice gunfight win there out of Jimbo. So far a 2-2 start, as we said, Jay. The X factor right now for this Paris team, not at all a great debut to kick off his Major 2 campaign, his really debut in the pro scene, but so far, a solid performance. A nice little turnaround there for Temp, as now Gizmo, feeling the pressure, has to rush on in, and just like that, team wipe after team wipe. Now it's Paris's turn.
And look at number 6, which is gonna be John. He's trying to think about that early rotation. He finds that first kill onto Nasty. And I see London kind of turtling up. He's trying to find this kill. John finds a second as well. So where does that player spawn as they're putting a lot of pressure towards street? He's still gonna spawn out towards the back. But John trying to do everything he can from this fire area.
Yeah, the player to watch without a doubt. It's gonna be Jonathan Perez, the good old vet, trying to set up his teammates early on, the farthest pushed up player. Now with Jimbo just behind him. The rookie and the vet looking to work in tandem together, but John, now the soul man, actually hops inside of the hill, gets a few seconds as a nade, actually takes out a teammate. We say goodnight to Nasty. But on the positive end for London, they still are going to be spawning close. Nobody at the street either. So they will have good clearance to make their way. Trifle back on into the hard point. As now it's Paris' opportunity once more to try to make the break. It is Temp from the skies, but overall the SMGs still winning the fight. London somewhat thinned out. Nasty has to back on out and gets dropped as well. Paris another solid break with 25 seconds left. They look to gain every single one of those points now.
That's just great work from Paris. They attack through fire, they attack through front, but then they set up Temp towards that top 3 story. He basically got spawn kills on spawn kills to allow his teammates to get back into this point. Now thinking about that rotation though. 10 seconds left. Paris Legion starting off this game hot. Number 7, which is gonna be Temp, trying to hit that long route, trying to flip these spawns. If he can try to get towards the back warehouse, he can potentially flip it and influence the spawns towards the back.
Oh, that's great.
But John finds one. Temp unfortunately does get taken down, so London right now currently holding.
Oh, John just rushes on through! Oh, the lovely 2-piece there out of John, but still, London with numbers. And as they continue to push on out, they're getting slayed. But Paris have got to dive inside of the hill if they want to make these kills somewhat worth it. Jimbo given the clearances, as we said, Temp trying to make the play for the spawns. Back and forth we go. A 2v2 exchange is now Paris once more coming out on top and rushing right inside of the hill. And when it comes down to Berlin, I mean, oftentimes we're talking about Ravens being the team that have seen so much success in breaking. Right now, Paris on the other side doing an excellent job at it as well. Down by 40 points and with a big HP up next. Let's step aside and see how the comms are sounding for the Royal Ravens.
Top three, get top three.
He's laying down out of there.
Okay. I'm gonna need help, you want?
There's two of them, okay?
Two hitter. Hey, clutch. Yeah, there's three. All there. Wait, kills, Brian.
Holding secret.
Who's wrapping side hill? I can nade him.
I get him out, Tom, John.
One's open, okay?
Nice. I'm going top three.
Yo,
Yo, refill my post, John, when you spawn. Okay.
I hear you.
Looking over everything.
What's
Top boxes?
Top
boxes? Yep. I got one. Look at top boxes. I don't see him.
Still just trying to help you on, boys.
Yo, D tower. Deep tower. You see it?
On your block, we're dead.
Go push, John. Push. Fuck it. Go crazy.
You can be clutch stairs.
Yo, once deep tower shit.
One dogs, nasty dogs.
Top tower. You gotta hold an iron. He's gonna work your outer. Brother.
Yo, one's going
I got
fire,
your
by the
inner.
way. One's going fire.
You should work outer. You should work it.
I won't go for spawn. I'm holding
Top
spawn.
tower. He was outer. Afro weak. Move him. Trey and Afro. They're both weak. That's a two-piece. This shit. Hit this shit.
One shot in time. Get one. On the right side of it. You come catwalk to your right.
Stunned him. Nice, we're missing one. Who was it?
Nasty, you got two.
Yeah, they probably flipped.
They flip now. 0 dubs, okay? No one you yet.
Missing Nasty
Yo,
still.
Brian, when you spawn up.
Missing Nasty still. Could be outer.
You can be clutch stairs.
Yo, outer door. They're all set. They're all gonna be on me. I need help. Yo, already dub. Get dub. Two dub. I'm dead. Left desk, third desk. He's strafing. He's squaring up.
He's one shot. I'm holding outer.
Take it down.
Now do it then. I'm waiting.
Pinching the way you spawn. Left side hill. One shot Gizmo. You guys gotta get him. I got a whole pinch.
One shot in him.
Let's gotta get him. Nice.
Called for London and got Paris. My bet on that, but so far the comms sounding great for the Legion here. Temp guiding the guys through, calling out easy two pieces. Great opportunities. A roster that's been criticized for their communication is bringing it right now toward the opposite end. Let's check in now with the comms for London.
One shot. Very weak. Pull back. I got nice trade.
Go.
Right, listen.
Fight me. On the right hand side. Who you? I'm gonna try to get to fucking closes and just chill. Turn out. Oh, sweet. Listen, I'm close. I'm set up close, okay? Behind close.
One's gonna pinch, Brian. One's gonna pinch.
Come close.
I'm trying to be. He's back window. Jimbo. One shot. From fire, dead. Back window. Could have went dubs. Get time.
I'll get it. You got it, yeah? Get it. I'll go top. I'm still now, okay?
Was that on hold, yeah?
Yes.
I got your whole back door. Yo, 2p5, window. I can't see this guy forward, boy. Could have punched street. It could be 2p5, guys. Go on. Where's this guy? Gravity street weak.
Let's go. He was open set, probably just staying alive.
Open on me weak. He went, he's after the time in the dubs corner.
How much street, guys? Street.
Far corner, Marcus. Nice.
Give me a set, Marcus.
Yeah, he went close now, John. John closed. Close.
John, I need help. I'm staying up. And the cons for both of these teams were insane. I really like Paris Legion because for some reason, Temp was leading the pack, not getting hostile at all, just being the leader for this team. Yeah. He was setting up his players for that P1 hold, but then they allowed London to break in. They find themselves off the rotation. That's why they have the lead. They're so good at chaining this P2 to P3. Paris Legion need to hold the back spawn right now.
Yeah, they absolutely have to. But Gizmo nearly turns on the third. A great, really done in the setup for Paris as Nasty looks to try to exploit it that much more. A current 10-point game. And with a massive hard point up next, it could be the ticket for Paris to take a solid advantage in this opener. As we said, a major game for them to take as they are the underdogs coming into the battle for Europe. But through the back we go. Nasty trying to lead the way as he and Afro try to heat on up the Young Guns. Going big to break the setup right now for Paris. That's going to be a clean team wipe. They're out of the Ravens as Jimbo looks to make something of it all. As we talk about both teams seeing success on breaking Ravens, a high listing when it comes to breaking on Berlin, showing it right there. 15 seconds left. A few Paris players trying to go for the late contest, but not working out.
Yeah, London just did a great job of just putting a lot of pressure in towards Fire and towards Street. They spawned all of Paris Legion towards that top plat, so they took their time around the back. They were able to secure the final 30 seconds on P3. Now you start thinking about that rotation. Temp has to try to go big because his teammates are spawning all out towards back alley. Can he try to find that kill? Jimbo does take that player down, and Temp wins a huge one-on-one versus Afro. Afro really stepped up, at least in the middle half of this game. He started off like 5 and 14, so far sitting at 13 and 19. That's why the Ravens so far have the lead they do.
And that's something that Amos was bringing up as well. I mean, who's going to be able to handle somebody like Afro? And really, maybe that could be the story of what has been a great late comeback for Ravens, but right on cue, John answers with 2. He and Tip combined for 3, shutting down the Ravens, and now is the time to hop inside of the objective. But hey, an unfortunate teammate is going to now allow for that hill to be vacant. Back and forth we go, but it is the Ravens with a slight advantage. Final 10 going down over at Trains before we hit this rotation toward P5. Neck and neck game up to this point, but as we said, a huge one for both of our rosters. Ravens cannot afford to lose a hard point like this, given the record that they've got. But right now, Jay, it just feels for the London side that these guys are beginning to heat on up.
Yeah, London have turned this game around towards that middle half. Gravity doing a great job of just staying alive towards top 3, but Afro finds that kill. So now Jimbo, can he win the gunfight? He's able to take him down. 204 to 193. London currently have control. They cannot close it out here. But if you're Paris Legion, your main focus is not give up a lot of time, but you need to flip these spawns towards that P1 plat side if you want to try to get back into this one.
See what they can do with it, Tim. Nice kill there on the Afro as Paris look to seize on in the HP. 25 seconds left. Over at P5. It's iLLeY vacant for the moment, but as we said, it is really a race for those next side spawns. That's the thing that you're focusing on. As the pendulum continues to swing right now on Berlin, it is London with the favorable side, and with the great little angles, Afro gets dealt with again. A narrow game for the time, but London doing an excellent job at clearing things out early. Well, it will be Paris grabbing the scraps. It is Ravens off the rotation. Nasty, Inco looking to set up shop and get prepared for what could be the push of the game. 25 before this one is done.
Look at that play that's going on the flank, Jimbo. Unfortunately, he runs by a player, so he's not going to set up that pitch. London are able to find another 2 kills. Last player close enough is going to be Gravity. He's trying to do everything he can to take one down, but unfortunately, he drops, and London are 10 seconds away from closing this out. Paris have to put the pressure on.
It's time to put the pedal to the metal. Paris, can they break in? 5 more seconds. Jimbo waits for the call. That's going to be 2. That's going to be 3. The trade still favoring London as the final 1v1 will go their way. And Ravens answer early here on Berlin.
They just do what they've been doing all season. The second rotation, they do a great job at that P2, but then that P3 rotation was huge because Paris Legion, they thought, hey, we have the back control, we are fully set up, we're watching fire, but then a couple London players are able to kill a couple of those players on the street side. They spawn out all the way to the front, towards that opposite side, towards P1, and at that point, London were just taking their time securing the back. Once they found that opening kill from fire, eventually they set up the pinch, they were able to close out that P3 by picking up those final 40, and then the second go around towards the very end, Paris Legion, they did a good job at that P5 hard point the first go around. They usually average about 6 points on it. Pretty sure they got about 20 to 25, but then the second go around is where neither team was really playing for it. London did a great job of just controlling the spawns, keeping that plat side so they can close it out on P1.
And I guess you could say a good sign for London, right? To see those 2 guys, player 2, player 3, both Nasty and Gizmo, having a solid performance, which as we said, so far on land, right? When it came down to Major 1 and in that series versus Florida, 2 guys who were a little bit shaky. You see those guys in the rhythm, makes you a little bit more excited about what could be a loser's bracket run, at least a victory here versus Paris, if those 2 guys are having a solid start.
100%. Just to talk a little bit more on Gizmo, keep in mind, the beginning of the year, he was like the second best flex that we had in the game. He was sitting at like a 1.3, but ever since then, he's just been kind of calming down a little bit. He's sitting at overall at like a 0.8 so far ever since he's entered back on this team, and if that guy can get going, that is when we will see the London Royal Ravens at their top potential. Because Zero, he's a great leader. He's going to put up those even numbers. But when you can get your young guns to really step up, they're basically going to be unbeatable.
And that's what Zero has said. I mean, he has talked nothing but highly about this team. We talk about the 2 rookies in specific, right? Nasty and Gizmo, 2 players that maybe not a whole lot of CDL fans, COD community, we're aware of. 2 players who've been dominating in EU Challengers. You see those guys go off. As we said, it looks to be a good sign for the Ravens early, but who knows? Bocage Search Destroy up next, Jay. I have no idea how to call this one.
Well, these 2 teams have played on it before.
That's true.
And it was all the way in a game 5. London were able to walk away with it in a 6-3 fashion. I'm pretty sure Nasty puts up like a 2.5 KD, and so does Gizmo. Both of those guys were just taking over the game, but that was also when we were seeing Jimbo just run strictly down the map. Now that, you know, Paris Legion have got more reps in their search and destroy, I'm looking for better strategy here.
Absolutely. So we'll take a look at our really, Search Destroy, leaders so far throughout the season. There you see Big Byron. Good old Byron Plumridge leading the way for the Ravens at a 1.11. On the other side, no surprise, Jay, it is Tip leading the way for Paris at a 1.06. As we said, a team in Paris, we really want to see the improvements in Search Destroy. If this team does want to be that roster who can upset bigger teams, I don't know about you, but I feel like it's going to come down to the Search Destroys really throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, especially, it's definitely not going to be the control. That's their worst game mode. And the fact that they already started off this series down 1-0, they need this map to get back into this series, because what we saw to London yesterday in their Search and Destroy, they go up 4-0. Zero has a glide bomb, they get the first blood, and in the 4v3, they use the glide bomb and they still lose the round. And then slowly but surely, Florida started getting back into this game. Like the Death said, the comms are probably getting frantic. Definitely a frustrating sight to be up 4 on a Search and Destroy and lose it the way that you did. But hopefully they learn from that. It's going to be a totally different map though. They have the experience on the Bocage versus this team. Just got to keep on doing what you do. Keep in mind that that A-bomb is now outside on the right side.
And we saw it there for a moment. I know we're looking at the team right now, but in the replay from yesterday after that loss versus Florida, you could tell Zero was frustrated. He's like, gosh, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, I'm pulling out snipes like that. I go for like 13, 14 kills. I'm killing players through walls with the snipe. You got to have a little bit of success. But you and I were watching the VOD yesterday. It just felt like this Ravens team, I mean, at times just looked somewhat inexperienced after finding the first blood, or maybe in situations when it came down to that mid control on Tuscan, not nearly as comfortable. But when it comes down to Bocage, another adjustment has been made. That bomb site over at A now moved up toward the plat side. How do you feel that, I know we've seen it a few times already, but for maybe some of the newer fans out there, how does that change how Bocage works?
It changes a lot, man, because now you can see that A-bomb from multiple angles, from the back tank and their defensive spawn. You can even see it from back stables, top barn area. There's so many different angles that you now have to check if they get that bomb down towards A. But between both of these teams, on this map, you have London, who are 57% win rate when they're attacking that A-bomb nice and slow. Paris Legion, whenever they try to step up their pace on this map, either if it's going towards A, if they're going towards B, whenever they play fast on this map specifically in Search and Destroy, they never see success. So for both of these teams, it's all about just slowing down the game, allowing the opposite team to try to make some mistakes, try to get a little bit over aggressive, and then eventually work your numbers.
Yeah, as we said, we're going to see both teams come out firing in this SD specifically for Paris. As you called it, buddy, really is going to be on this team to really dig deep in a series that they absolutely would love to have after all the adjustments, the challenger updates, bringing in some young players to this team. You want to see it pay off for them, but into the round one, Bocage Search Destroy we go, and it's Afro answering early.
Afro gets the first blood, so the bomb is going to be down in towards that middle zig, and look at Gizmo. He's already going to push out towards that accuracy tank, finds that easy kill onto Gravity. Now in the 4v2 situation, look at number 8 in Jimbo. He's trying to find great timing through the street. Can he potentially get behind a couple players on London?
You see Tim trying to feed him some information. Jimbo does get found out, and now it all comes down to Donnie. A 1v4, now make it a 1v3. 50 seconds left. But as we said, this guy loves to dig deep. He's got that clutch gene in him. A veteran of the scene. Now lines up for what could have been his second kill, but Ravens start and end nice and hot.
That was just a good tone setter from the Ravens to be aggressive out towards that lower tank side. You get Gizmo set up on that left. Anyone that tries to wrap back in towards top barn, tries to go in towards the second story, they're going to get taken down. Afro finds that first blow into John. Eventually they find the second, and then they just play the man advantage. Jimbo tried to be the playmaker. He eventually gets stiffed out. But London, clean defense to start us off.
Yeah, you can see Gizmo over at that tank. I think he's aware of the new positioning, the way that Bocage Search Destroy now works. A nice early round there for Jay Giz. And now it's London's opportunity. Start things off on the attack. And more of a slower start. Gizmo, nice little pre-nade for the backside of the gate. Unfortunately for him, no information really found as the utility continues to be tossed on out. Nasty backs up, repositions. Ravens still looking for the pick.
Yeah, Ravens is just trying to take their time. They know that John, he gave up his position towards that A-bomb. Is it going to attack Duval Grandma's? John's going to go for the challenge. He finds one. Now they have the man advantage. John spots the second. Don't commit. You do not want to drop here. You have the man advantage. Still in the 3v4. John's going to lose it. Huge one-on-one from Afro. Now 3v3.
And that really hurts the Paris side, right? John was your eyes, your ears instead of bottom Grandma's. That's now going to be given up. And Paris now working from the back. They get a great kill coming in from Gravity. But oh, Nasty, he sneaks his way through. He doesn't spot the player to his right. He doesn't spot the player to his right, and now with that, it brings it all on to Afro, a 1v3 and only 20 seconds to play with. Guns, Gravity, and now with 15 on the clock, he'll find himself at this B site and somehow manages to stay alive. The utility tossed out, but still alive. Not sure where to challenge. Paris worked the numbers, and they'll grab our second round.
That's just good work from Jimbo to not commit towards the gunfight. You watch the player drop down towards B, you use your tactical to at least stun him, even though the bomb gets planted, to stall enough time for your teammate to eventually challenge with you. In the 2v1, Paris Legion are able to get it done. Tie it up at 1 apiece. The biggest kill, though, had to be when it was a 3v3. Gravity finds that kill towards that lower tank area, forces it to the 3v2. So they're able to tie this game up at 1 apiece. What can London do on this defensive side now?
It's really going to be onto that man, Trey. As we talked about, Zero guiding these guys into games like this, situations like this, so relied upon. In all these interviews you've talked, brother, we've heard the young guys speak about how great of a leader that he is. But versus this crafty Paris team, we'll see what Zero has got cooked up on this next defensive round for them. Firing out some shots over toward the field. Gizmo wants to get involved in this fight. It's Gravity, he will exchange some shots. It could be the rotation now for Paris. Temp's been here the whole time, trying to get some eyes, get some visuals here. John decides to rush on in, but he gets greeted there from Afro. A lovely pick there for Marcus Reed. As back and forth we go. Nasty with the pick. Jimbo there for the challenge. It is trades on trades, and now it leaves Gravity all by his lonesome.
Gravity in the 1v2. Bomb's gonna be down towards B. He has a lot of time to work with. Just gonna put himself through that middle gate area. You see both of London. They're just stacking up. They're trying to play the trade. As Gravity looks like he has a bit of information of where these plays will be. He goes for the challenge. Unfortunately, not able to win it. Great win coming in from Gizmo to close that one out.
That's
London.
a great shot from Gizmo.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Gravity knew exactly where he was.
100%. That threw him off guard. Like the camera angle and everything. He was still able to win it. Big gunfight from Gizmo to go up 2-1.
I'd be typing in the chat if I was playing a ranked game. Like, how did you know? How did you know I was there? Great shots from Giz. As we said, one of the guys that we talk about so often for this Ravens team. Had a solid performance in that opening hard point and gets a crucial kill there in the 2 versus 1 as the Ravens now find themselves up in this S&D and now back on the attack. Bob sits on the back of Nasty. It's been somewhat more slow, methodical rounds, but that pace could begin to change on up. As the newcomer, the new guy in the block, dropped early. And with that being the case, take a look at where Tim finds himself, Jay. Back of London spawn.
Temp's all the way behind him, but he still hasn't shot his gun yet. Afro finds that kill onto John. Temp's gonna be able to find that kill onto Gizmo. So now in the 3v2 situation, London, they're gonna be able to put this bomb down towards A. You see number 1 and 0, he's gonna be playing the safety net, backs up all the way to stables because he can see that bomb from that area. He's now in the 3v2. Temp trying to push his way through tunnels. He should have an engagement here soon.
He hops right on this defuse. Trying to bait out some shots, Gravity. Making some noise. Let's still on the defuse, but no, Tip gets dealt with. And so will Gravity, the Ravens, despite a clever little moment there from the Legion, the 2v3 retake. They hop on the Ninja, but the Ravens read it out. And again, it's Afro delivering.
And it was all on the safety net because both of these players who were sitting inside of Grandma's, they didn't have any information that that player was on bomb. But Zero puts himself in the best position to watch that cross. He gives the call out to his team, even though they were having a lot of engagements in towards bottom Grandma's. The main thing was just getting him off of that bomb, at least forcing it to a 1v1 if needed. But they were able to clutch up, now up 3-1. Paris Legion need to stop the bleeding. They're going to be aggressive through the middle half. Once again, this time trades going back and forth. London have the man advantage.
Oh, and Temp wants to get aggressive as well and manages to escape with his life. Great little play there from Donnie Temp. Problem being is that John was the man with the bomb, and that's on the other side of the map right now. Temp dealt with, and now it's all on to Gravity. 1v2, but working off that information, looks to go for it, but again, the Ravens answer. Paris showed them aggression, and London say, hey, we're happy to deal with you every chance that we get. And I mean, what, Jay? That's what you were talking about coming into this Bocage. Paris, in these faster rounds, don't tend to see success.
And the good thing is, from London, they are blind countering them every time. Like, the first time they go towards B, right there you already have a London player set up. But every time they try to go towards A, they're super aggressive towards that lower tank. So we're throwing them off guard. They're saying, we're playing slow A, we're playing slow B. Neither one is working. Let's try to switch it up. And London, great on the mid-game adjustments. Just attack through middle gate and win the man advantage. So now up 4-1. Paris Legion need to show some sign of life. As London are going to take their time to the middle. Jimbo does not pick up that kill. But at least you get some information if these guys are going to be playing towards Barn.
If you're a London fan, you're seeing a 4-1 score line, and
by
no means are you out of this one yet. It was 4-0 versus Florida. London rushed right into Grandma's. Nana, I'm home, but John is there to greet you at the front door. Takes them both down, and just like that, Nasty gets dealt with. 0. Now in a 1 versus 3, finds the first one, and could look to play for streaks as he's on a 4-kill spree.
Yeah, you might just want to take your time. 35 seconds. It's not going to be an easy round to win. If you can potentially find one, you can work towards those kill streaks, but 25 seconds left. John was the guy that secures this round on the side of Paris Legion. Because this is going to be a stalemate. Like, he doesn't see anything. He's just going to stay alive the entire time. This is a Paris Legion round. They're currently down 4-2. John takes it over. He finds 2-piece in towards bottom Grandma's, eventually finds the third out towards lower tanks. It's now London. Get a little scary, and if you're 0, you might not want to get that glide bomb.
You're like, guys, okay, hold on. Now it's 4-2. We were in this situation yesterday where I was going off. I dropped 13 kills. Now I sit on a spree again. Could have a glide bomb. Let's make sure that we don't replicate what happened yesterday. But how about this 2-piece there from John, the vet? Answers. Escapes with 5 HP. Without a doubt, one of the biggest plays that we've seen so far throughout this series. And it's now Paris with some life. Down 4-2. And here on this attack, the talk has been on their pace. The slower, the better. Statistically, recently for the Legion. But if you take a look at the minimap, that is a free A site if they look to make their way in it nice and early, Jay.
But look at what the Ravens are doing. They take full map control. There's no way they can read this. That a couple players are going to be behind them. Dashy finds one. Gizmo finds a second. Immediate 4v2. As John takes down Gizmo, makes it a 3v2. Paris Legion now have to slow down. Jimbo trying to get every bit of information from this barn area. Is going to wrap this back towards that lower trenches side. Don't have any information yet, as London are not giving up anything.
Silence is deafening. John, with that sniper, MP40 in the back pocket as well. They've got the right weapons to work with, but is the timing going to favor the opposite end? Nasty whips a few shots, and just like that, it's now brought to a 1v2. 0, meanwhile, sits on the spree as he watches his young guns fall by the wayside. Bomb now planted, and it's on to the vet to do it himself. Get some information there on the Jimbo, knows what the angle is. Is it gonna work out for him? Goes he's toward the tank, deals with the first 30 seconds. John, V0. And Trey's gonna make a play. Trey's gonna make a play, but John is there. Paris coming out with a 2v4.
They need these rounds. What a round out of John. He finds that opening kills, at least make it a 3v2. And then Jimbo, he stays alive just enough towards that gate side to force that player from London to try to break out that front door. Jimbo picks up one, John picks up the second. Got a little scary though. Once Zero was able to spot Jimbo crossing back, picks up that kill, forces into a 1v1, but John's a world champion for a reason. MVP for a reason. On a 3 spree, trying to bring his team back into this one.
And it cannot be understated. You've got to win this next round if you're London. You cannot afford for the pace to change up, for the momentum to instantly shift. Despite being down 0-1, Paris, they just feel confident, but that confidence now shaken. As Jimbo goes flying on Bocage, Gizmo with a nice and early nade. So Ravens continuing to look for those picks. As they may prioritize a rotation now over at A. Gravity continues to open up the windows. And John, in the position that we saw him absolutely go off on just moments ago, is it going to be Another similar situation. Answers for the first, but it will be a trade. Ultimately favoring the Ravens is now Gravity. Left by himself, a 1v3. Spots Gizmo, and Bomb does not go down, Jay.
Bomb does not go down, so now with 30 seconds left, Nash is gonna pick it up. He's gonna go immediately for the bomb plant.
Oh my.
Gravity puts himself in a great position, not able to pick up the kill though. So now you see London trying to take control of their spawn. Gravity still has a lot of time to work with. Can he potentially find one?
Oh, and Zero. Definitely spotted him. Zero spots him, but Gravity winning the first escapes with his life. 9 HP, for God's sake, and again, it is all on to Zero. A 1v1, 20 seconds left, as Gravity's gonna have to go for the defuse. Looking for information, where is Zero hiding? It's gotta be somewhere in Grandma's. Time continues to tick away. Doesn't turn fast enough, and Zero will clutch things out there for London, but another situation, Jay, where it gets scary, it gets dicey. But this time, Zero clutches up.
Yeah, you're happy that you have Zero on your team. Vet steps up and wins a huge one-on-one.
He's like, golly, come on, guys.
Yeah, if I'm Gravity right there, once you find that first kill, you had about 30 seconds, but he didn't put himself close to that bomb at any point. You want to try to play around that to at least sniff him out, force him to at least give up his positioning. He just wasted too much time trying to locate him. That London now find themselves at game point. Paris Legion trying to be aggressive through the middle of the map. Once again, Zero, fortunately, does not hit the snipe. Look at John, he's so aggressive in towards the bottom Grandma's.
John with the aggression. Oh, he spawns him to the wall, but Afro gets the better of him there. A great little moment there at a Marcus Reed. Ravens with that first blood, and keeping in mind, bomb down for the moment. Jimbo will have to acquire it. Tim comes through with the nade. Nasty falls as Tim also tries to go for the jump up. He'll miss that. Here comes Jake Giz for the chance, but no, it's Jimbo on the other end. Afro and Zero. Was man advantage, now turned the opposite direction. A great one there for for Temp, as now who other than Zero again in a clutching situation. The sniper is out, and it hits for the first.
Okay, makes it a 2v1 now. They know that he has a sniper, so you see Paris Legion, they're gonna be aggressive. At least push out their back of the spawn. 35 seconds, Zero's probably predicting that they're gonna be playing towards top plat, at least towards that lower trenches area. Crouches way up, I'm pretty sure he's able to spot Temp. Temp throwing great shoulders to stay alive. Can Zero trying to find this kill?
Oh, he's got the rat, he's got the pistol out, and hello! Jimbo, absolutely destroyed. 10 seconds, and it will be around regardless for Paris. But it's these same situations, Jay. London going up early, not walking away with these rounds. I know they clutched one just a moment ago, but it's continually Zero left in these situations. 1v3s, 1v2s, he's doing his best, but it's these mid-round type of situations where Paris have just gotten the better of them. London still at map point, but we cannot stress it enough, the importance of these next 2 rounds for Legion. As they'll take helm on the defensive end. Gizmo trying to lead the way, make his way to the back gate position. A few shaky shots, no answers early. A bit of information, but that's all it'll be. Afro with the bomb, looks to stay somewhat stationary over toward the Z end. Paris playing careful, playing close. And John narrowly stays alive.
Way to stay alive if you're John. You do not want to give up another first blood because London are dominating in that category so far. As Temp was at least able to spot one player towards that far back tank area. They know that the push has to be coming in towards that. You see everyone's starting to hit that rotation. John puts himself in that position that Afro just killed him, and the bomb is gonna get planted.
Oh!
John trying to commit, he finds that first blood, 3v4.
Oh, and Gizmo slides on him. Great little slide there for Gizmo. But the bomb, still yet to get planted. Gravity looking, Nasty with the cover, spots the head of Temp, but can't take him down. Temp looks to escape, hides behind the wheel, as Nasty comes around the corner. It will be the bitter end for Temp with the trade, in from Gravity. 35 seconds left, and it's a trade once more. 0 v Gravity for the game. Can it be Gravity's opportunity to redeem himself? Zero sits just above him. He's got the angle. Where does Gravity look to go for the defuse? With the bomb planted where it is, he may have to hit the shots of his life. Decides to hop on the defuse. Zero, maybe knowing the timing. Here he comes and takes it! Zero continues to clutch up for the Royal Ravens in the final, 7 rounds? It felt like Trey was in a position to clutch, and he does it in the biggest moment possible. Paris fight back after being down 4-1, but it is a new day for London as they clutch up here on Bocage and now find themselves up 2-0 in what has been a wild series.
Insane search and destroy from both of these teams. Obviously, Paris Legion started off this game really slow. They went down 4-1, and they were slowly but surely starting to bring the game back in. They were getting a majority. Even after getting first blood, they clutched that huge 2-4, which switches the complete momentum. And then, Zero's left in a lot of situations where it's a 1v2, 1v3. Paris Legion doing a great job at just finding these picks. But unfortunately, they still lose the map as Zero clutches up not 1, but 2 1v1s versus Tom Gravity to close out 6-4. This is difficult now for Paris Legion, because if you think about the time last time that these two teams matched up, Paris went up 2-0 and then got reverse swept. Now they're going into Control, which is their worst game mode. Yeah. They're gonna need some miracles here.
Yeah, they absolutely are. As we said, we gotta bow down to Zero. A very well-deserved performance. He did it yesterday versus Florida. This time it equals out into a W for the team. As you said, Jay, a very awkward spot now for the Paris Legion on the brink of being eliminated already from our Minnesota Major. Will it be a hot 3-0 to start off the losers bracket run for the Royal Ravens, or could it be the opportunity for Paris to make a reverse sweep? The Minnesota Major will continue right after this quick break.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Zenny. Armor your eyes with Blox gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL. Upgrade your game with a Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Howdy friends, and welcome back to day 2 of the Minnesota Major. We find ourselves in a very interesting spot right now in a loser's bracket game. Loser of this series is heading home in a top 12 placement, but in our last game, it was Trey Morris, that man zero, digging deep for the squad and giving his roster the advantage right now in this series. Jay, Paris find themselves down 0-2. I'm sure that they didn't expect maybe to face off against the Ravens coming into the tournament, but they found themselves versus one of the better teams in the game. And right now that roster is showing why they deserve to be there.
100%, man. And now they're going into a Gavuta control where they really haven't had a lot of success. Yeah. Just sitting at overall 2-3 on this map. But the last time that these two teams matched up, London were able to walk away with this map in a clean 3-0 fashion. 3-0? Yeah, and it was all on the back of Afro, too. Like, 3 rounds easy. The guy put up 21-9, which is like a 2.3 KD. So, like, if you're Paris Legion, that's a guy that you need to focus on because he makes so much impactful plays. He pushes through P1 delayed. And eventually, if he finds himself in your spawn, he's going to cause so many problems on the side of Paris Legion if they cannot try to slow him down. London are in the driver's seat. This is going to be difficult for Paris Legion to try to bring this back. As you see the stats popping up, 3rd on offensive wins for London, 7th on defense. And you see on the opposite side for Paris, 11th and 9th. Average ticks. Ever since that update, they are dead last. So Paris Legion, you need to make sure that you're playing for these ticks, these segments on both of these points.
Yeah, without a doubt, partner. I think, Paris 1-8 in their last 9 controls, and sheesh, only 3 of those 8 losses, Jay, were in round 5. So it's not as if they're just happening to get outslayed, go to those round 5s on attack. No, they're just simply not even getting to those final rounds. But maybe with the tick update, we'll see if that changes things up a bit. And so far, it seems to be doing exactly that. Paris yet to drop. Great little start for them, and that success looks to continue. As Nasty falls, it could be a nice little spawn trap set up there for Legion off the rip. Temp at one side, and really Gravity and John at the other. Slays continue to happen. 7 unanswered kills right now for Legion, as Temp doing a great job at staying alive.
And this is the perfect way you want to start this game. Basically 8 non-traded kills on the side of Paris Legion. They're able to find 2. As you see, all of London trying to attack through cliffside. 35 seconds left. Not having even completed 1 segment yet. So much map control on the side of Paris Legion, but eventually London are able to get in on this 8 point. John trying to do everything he can to slow them down. They're able to stop that clock. Do they read this player in Jimbo go for that flank though?
That's a good question. Jimbo trying to apply some pressure. Eventually we'll turn that into a flank, but how about the great kills? Inside of the boat, Gravity and John go big. Meanwhile, it's Gizmo trying to keep this push alive. They do get the close spawns, and you see the instant awareness, knowing that those close spawns mean that somebody has got to be in the back of their base. And if they continue to get slayed out, it could be a problem. It could be somewhat of an avalanche effect, but Jimbo does get dealt with, and from there, Nasty gets given the call to push on forward into green. 10-second stop for the moment. A hefty fight to win, and Nasty, great job going for the veteran's teeth in search of the wisdom. 2 ticks through. 1 more to go right now for London before they get that extra minute added on to the clock. As Big Byron now sitting on 4 in a row could potentially have some streaks in his future, and that would be wonderful for this next point.
Yeah, this is good for London to just break out of that setup to at least get 3 segments in their first offense. But you see the Paris Legion, they're fully set up around P1. They're not going to give up that position. Temp was a huge one-on-one. This is going to force all of London to try to attack from the back. John is going to be the closest player. He finds 1. Can he find the second? That's going to be a clean 4 dead. Paris up by 9 lives. Now they potentially put them in more of a spawn trap.
You see, they just constantly established Jimbo toward these flanks, trying to pepper a few of the London players off the spawn, but no dice there. Temp also gets dealt with. It's not going to be an easy journey. Quite literally running through sand and getting dealt with there from Tom Gravity, laying down the lead. Gets the reload in, and from there, 20 seconds, it feels like it will be a Paris early round. 1 more push prepared for London, but they've got to find a few of these picks are able to at least get the 2 for 2. Down majorly, but Gizmo, nice little double kill, will free up what could be The final push, the final little moment. But the Ravens are gonna fall by the wayside. Legion answer some great slays off the start, and that really just continued to echo throughout the ends of that round number 1.
Yeah, it all starts with the early slaying. They go up 8 kills without anyone dropping. So then that's wasting a lot of time on the clock for London to try to make plays. Eventually, they find themselves on that A point. They get those early 3 segments. But then at that point, Paris Legion, they said, hey, you can have it. We're going to make sure we take P1. We're going to take control of your spawn and just basically play the kills here. As they were able to dominate in the slaying in that first round. Not going on the attack temp. Sitting at 11-4, finds that first blood. But look at the push coming in from Paris. They're going to be all out aggressive towards B.
And for a team that not often is winning these attacks, it's interesting that they do go for the B hit. Ravens, without a doubt, not expecting it, but that's when they call on this guy, Afro, to pick up off of the strategy call that Legion looked to make. Sprints into the fight and somehow at least gets the 1-for-1. And right now, Legion in somewhat of an interesting spot. They've got a few spawns going either which way. 2 still looking to push over at B. Meanwhile, it is that A attack still progressing. Slays continue to go down, but it is Legion having these guns hot so far throughout the early stages of this Kabuto. Finally able to pause the time.
40 seconds left. You had to start thinking about those segments, though. You have to try to stay alive as London are able to find 2 kills. Jembo trying to do everything he can from the middle of the map. As Temp finds a second. Now there's only 30 seconds left. They still haven't completed a segment. They're up by 3 kills. They need to make sure that they complete A to at least tie up the segment count, because you do not want to lose this offensive round by not completing anything.
And finally, Jay, somebody gets to the objective. I mean, this felt like players were constantly overlooking each other, looking at the exact same angle. And John taking that Cellium spot. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out nearly as nice as it does for MC. So while he gets taken down to the top side of the map, over on the bottom side of the mini-map, it is Paris doing a great job of finally stacking the objective. It took some time, but eventually it works on out. And Gizmo now in the back of the base. He gets dealt with. Paris 3 strong in the boat, but they will wait for their vet to get out of spawn. Problem being is, can he even get there? A 1v1 that John would love to have, but on the other side, it's Zero handling business.
So right now, London are doing the same exact thing that Paris did. You want to basically have 1 player watching the back, but you want to make sure that you keep control of top ring. Stay pushed out towards lower beach. It's all of Paris Legion. They're trying to find an opening kill. 45 seconds remaining. Zero finds that kill towards lower beach. Gizmo finds a second. So this is just continuously slowing down the push from Paris Legion. 40 seconds left. They have like 1 or 2 more good pushes if they can get top ring.
How is Zero alive? Okay, I was about to say, he has to be literally like 2 HP today. Tossed over the top there for Jimbo. I thought for a moment they were actually on the other side of the beach. No, they're still in their spawn right now. Only player past that 50-yard line is going to be Jimbo, called upon to try and make the play. As his teammates struggle to get through P1. Nice pistol shot there out of John. See if that pinch can be successful. The final push now being made from Paris, as that'll be a 2-for-2. As gravity falls, it's all on to Temp. He gets dealt with as well. Back and forth we go. A defense answered by another one.
All even up. Both teams have completed 3 segments. Both complete that A point. Basically an even game. So now if you're London, I want to see Zero doing this thing that he usually does at B. You know, single capping, capping a couple segments. He's having a slow start to this game though. As Paris Legion are trying to keep their tournament lives alive. Go back on the defensive side. Can they do the same exact thing that they did last time, which is keep up in the slaying department? See all of London trying to attack the middle of the map. 2-2 split. Afro should be able to find that opening kill.
Nice long-range shots. There at Afro. 17-12. Sits on the 4 spree. Objective. We don't need no stinking objective. It's time to go for slays, baby. Afro's hungry. Like a caged animal, sits in the right position for what could be the kills necessary for Ravens to get the clearance over at that A boat. Nice turn on. Now on 5. Time gonna be stopped. Time gonna be halted. As Gizmo eventually does get dealt with. There we go. Jimbo finds him. Nice little start there for Ravens. They do get that first tick. As we said, currently tied for the moment. So at the very least, if you're London, Jay, you're not always guaranteed these attacking rounds, but as many ticks as you can get It's going to be the positive as Zero attempts to make the play over at B. As you said, you want to see him in that position, but it's John there to read him.
Yeah, apparently they know who they're playing against. They're not going to allow him to sneak on through and at least complete one segment on towards B. As Paris, they have retaken map control. They're finding every single kill. Now with 35 seconds left, London has to try to fight out a respawn. Nasty wins a huge one-on-one towards Lower Beach. So now this opens up top ring area. If they can try to get towards B and at least stop that clock, because Paris Legion have so much map control on the left, on the right side of the map. It's gonna be another 3 dead. Nasty, what can you do on this point?
Oh, Nasty at least has to win this 1v1. Job done. And with that, the time will be halted. It could set up his teammates to make a play over at A, but it's Gravity on the other end, doing a great job at halting that push. Meanwhile, Temp eventually gets traded. So with that, Nasty hops off the objective, and that time will continue to tick away. Gravity now on 5 in a row. Looks to make it 6. So many 1v1s versus this guy in the search destroy, but it's Jimbo, his teammate, who's able to solidify the kill this time. London, only 1 tick so far throughout this attack, and that is all that they will get. A very well-played defensive round there for Legion, and that could have, without a doubt, Jay, round 5 implications.
Yeah, that could be the difference maker in this game. They just kept on putting a lot of pressure in towards Ship. Gravity ends on a couple, on a 5-6-3. Jimbo was able to at least go on a 5. They were just shutting down the push from London every time that they tried to attack from that cliff area. Paris, they knew that Zero was trying to sneak through B. They shut that player down. They were just keeping map control the entire time. So now Paris Legion, the only thing you need to do is complete 2 segments, and you will have that defensive round just in case for round 5.
And there we have it. A glide bomb to work with as well. The rich continue to get even richer. On top of that, they got the crowd on their side as well. Quite a few Paris fans here in Minnesota, it seems. As Temp looks to make some damage happen, at least some awareness happen. Over toward the top side of the map, he gets the call to sprint on forward, and once more, Paris on the attacking side making a very conscious effort at this B zone. Temp does get handled, but it still will set up this P1 stalemate. As Gizmo goes down, Gravity finds another one there on to Afro. The continuous attacks being made over at this B zone again.
They try to win every single gunfight. Gravity stepping up 21-11. They're just trying to at least complete 1 tick at B, because A is a lot easier to close out. 40 seconds remaining in this round. You see that London. And 1 player here, Zero, is going to get taken down. John unfortunately does get traded, but Jimbo wins a huge one-on-one across the map. They should be able to get on this A point. You need to complete segments.
That's the name of the game. Paris eventually, as we said, it's been somewhat slower for both of these teams to hop on that A objective, doing so around that 30-second mark and hunt for that map positioning, as now Paris have got exactly what they want. Getting the information, getting the calls, and Jimbo, a solid game so far, 20-14. Gets taken down in the base, but as we said, a great little moment right now for Legion. Not just 1 tick, now make it 2, as they will hold the advantage if we do head to a round 5 regardless. They've got that defense guaranteed. And they could be somewhat content with that, but they're still gonna go for this. They're still gonna fight. Afro, meanwhile, on the flank, looks to halt this push for as long as possible. Maybe get somewhat of a streak going, and a streak he will earn. Makes it 3, nearly finds the 4th. Great plays being made out of the sophomore, but now it's the rookie's turn to try and slay on out this Paris team. As that A objective gets captured, another minute added to the time. And Paris, another 3 down, Jay.
And Paris Legion can't close it out here. Keep in mind that Gravity has this glide bomb. He's going to invest it. He should be able to at least take 1 player down. Finds that kill. Now they have to focus on this player on the tank. Zero finds a huge one-on-one versus Temp, but the pressure is on from the front. 49 seconds. Can they eliminate Afro from the tank area? As John is still causing problems in their spawn. Right now, John on a 4 spree. Trying to do everything he can to be a nuisance. But with 35 seconds left, London have to play safe because they only have 3 lives until they have no more lives remaining.
John drops, but as you said, that life bank, if you will, starting to dwindle over the London end. But on the other side, it's also the time continuing to go away. Can Paris make the final push? Can they call it curtains? Here in this game, number 3 is Jimbo. The nice headshot to start there on the Gizmo. Problem being is that he's the only player here. 3 players to deal with, but hops on the objective. trying to lock things down, and does he have the cover fire to support him? Gizmo eventually takes him down 5 seconds away. Here comes the push. 2 players hop on it. Right into the blender they go. And a round secured for London. They will advance this into a round 5. But as we said, Jay, Paris do enough to guarantee that defense in our final round.
That's still got to be a little bit frustrating on the side of Paris, though. You invest a glide bomb. They only had 7 lives remaining. They had about 30 seconds. If they were able to find 3 kills, they were not going to spawn up anymore. But Paris Legion, they invest the glide. They do not do it in the kills, so we're forced to a round number 5. Paris Legion, by completing more segments, will have the defensive side. The way that they have been dominating in this slaying, everyone stepping up. Gravity, Temp, Jimbo, all sitting at 20+. The early aggression from London is going to come in towards A. Nasty finds that first kill. John, what can you do from this position as Afro finds a second? That's 3 early kills. And look at the pressure from Afro on towards B.
You couldn't ask for a better break for the London side, especially if Afro can win this fight, and he does exactly that. A lot of things to keep in mind early in this round 5 for Paris. They've got to handle business at B, deal with that pesky player, while also retake control over at the boat. 1 job done, but the other one's still not accomplished. Afro still lingering, still alive. 2 objectives to work on, and Paris are able to claim both.
Right now, London, they just have to get out of their spawn. They have a minute to do so. As you see Paris, they're just taking map control. John doing a great job of just staying alive around B1. He knows that one player's gonna try to sneak through. He picks up that kill onto Nasty. Now all of London spawning out towards back P4. What can they do? They need to try to find an opening kill. Temp and Jimbo able to find another 2. 40 seconds left. This is not gonna be easy for London to try to get out of their spawn.
And this is the map that we have been waiting for. Out of Jimbo, 30-18. Having himself a performance, now sits 1 away from the glide bomb. Ravens able to find a few kills, but again, it's Jimbo to take him down, calls out the glide bomb, and this is the perfect opportunity to bring it on in. Ravens dealt with. Gizmo falls in the objective, but the time still gonna be halted. No zone officially captured for London, but they will stop the time at 19 and some change. The cover fire is gonna be there at P1. Can John sneak his way toward the tank? Zero decides to push on forward, and he'll be paid. Rather, he'll have to pay for that mistake. Gizmo trying to keep it all together, but he as well could start to dwindle. 13 seconds left. Nothing overall done for London. They have to rush now over at A, but they continue to fall. Can Zero make the play now with the pistol? Everybody drops, and just like that, the 4 down. And it will be Paris Legion not going out like that. And you see Gravity's letting them know. He's got some fire, Jay.
That's what they needed. That's what Paris Legion needed to do to get some confidence in this series. It was a great map 1, a great map 2, but for them to come out in their worst game mode versus a team who sees a lot of success on Gafuta Control, it all just came down to the slaying. The slaying power on the side of Paris Legion was insane that first map. Gravity, 25-18, he picks up that early glide bomb. Temp, 32-23, but the standout player, man, Jimbo, that's what I'm talking about, kid. 34-19, goes on that 7 spree to eventually close out the game. Paris Legion stay alive in this series just a little longer to at least force that map 4.
Also, 30 non-traded kills, 4K damage. Sheesh. Out of the Røkkr, making his pro LAN debut and having a game to rally the Legion back into this series. And as we'll take a look through the highlights, Jay, I don't know about you, man, but it kind of screams the same thing that we saw yesterday versus Florida. A slow attacking round. They allowed for that round 5, right, to eventually be based off of picks, and they're not in the advantageous position. Florida made him pay, and this time, Paris did too.
Yeah, the biggest round had to be the second offense for London, that they were only able to complete 1 segment. So now if you're Paris Legion, you know, as long as we can close out this 8 point, we're gonna get this round win, at least have the defensive side for that round 5. For London, they were just committing a lot towards B. I would like to see them just complete A and at least force the fight from the front side, but eventually those segments come into play. Paris Legion, those guns were hot on that map. You gotta be scared on the side of the Ravens because keep in mind, Paris Legion, they were up 2-0 in this previous series of this matchup, then they got reverse swept. And the easiest map for London was the control. Yeah. They dominated it in a 3-0 fashion. So now that Paris Legion have a little bit of momentum underneath their belt, every player is starting to just look a lot better on the map. Jimbo really steps up on that map number 3. I can't wait to see what this Tuscan Hardpoint looks like.
Yeah, man, especially with this team, and we saw it, right? Players catching fire. We saw some hype on the stage as well. Paris Legion, who knows? Maybe starting to smell some blood in the water. And there you have it, the reaction out of Gravity. He is coming for those London boys. It is the Battle of Europe, and Gravity gets his game. And last time these teams matched up, Jay, it was Gravity having a slow performance, like a .84, goes negative, I think 18 in that series, has a great performance there to rally Paris. A game mode that they have struggled in massively, now is the one that they rely on to possibly get back into this game, but that all sits now on this game 4. Tuscan Hardpoint up next. How do you feel about this one?
I don't know. Paris Legion, at least what they showed us in that map number 3, their guns are a little bit more warmed up. They lost that first map by just allowing London to eventually just find themselves on early rotations. They did a great job of just chaining that P2 to P3. Last time that these two teams matched up, though, they actually did play this map. It was the 4th map in that series. London were able to walk away with it 250 to 212. So that just tells me, the way that Paris Legion is shooting right now, it has to come down to the slaying. They dominate P1. If they continue to do that in this map, we should have the push towards game 5.
It's possible. Anything is possible. We learned that very, very firmly yesterday. The amount of upsets were absolutely wild. As we said, it is a gauntlet going down right now in the elimination bracket. We're sitting at losers round 1, and this is the matchup that we have. We have London up right now 2-1 with the Tuscan Hardpoint now up next. Can it be the closeout opportunity for the Royal Ravens, or will Paris continue to heat on up? Great games pretty much across the board from everybody, but the stats, not great really on either side, but specifically for Paris, 11th in basically everything, Jay.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. 11th in rotation, 11th in holds, and then 11th on break percentage as well. But Jimbo, so far in this match, is putting up a 1.23. This is the best series. 100%. Lanimal. The guy is stepping up for the Paris Legion roster. Can he continue to do it here? So we're going to find ourselves on this game number 4. Paris Legion trying to do everything they can to stay alive. You need Temp to make sure he continues his big performances. But here we go. Paris Legion do a great job off this P1. London are spawning on the better side.
London on the better side. Paris currently with spawns in their favor for that P2. Can Jimbo continue to have this hot performance and realizes, you know what, maybe it's time for the flank, but Zero, the vet, there to read him. A great start here for the Royal Ravens off of P1. Right now, 18 unanswered points as John and Co look to try to break on in, but they have yet to really find that pick. John's able to grab it. With that, this could be the opportunity as Temp able to find one through middle, now make it 2. Paris sees on into the HP now.
Now with 20 seconds left, Paris Legion doing a great job at least trying to control this hill. The big picture is holding down to these spawns. You see number 8 and Jimbo already set up off the rotation around that P5 area. London still trying to attack from the left side field. As John does find 2, Paris Legion is still putting a lot of pressure, not trying to give up all this time. But eventually the Ravens are able to eliminate him, starting off with 32 points on this P1 hardpoint. Paris needs to answer here. Whew.
Definitely in need of it, but how about Tim? A little 2-for-1 action. As now it's London's opportunity to break into what is one of our money hills on Tuscan. Take your pick, pretty much all of them. You can lock down a decent amount of time on, except for that P5, but Ravens rush on forward. Afro looks to help lead the way. They've got everybody coming in from multiple directions. They flip spawns in a moment's notice. And London not just break in, but they dominate once they get there.
Now there's 30 seconds left. We saw it in the stats earlier. Paris are 11th in holds.
Hello.
Right there, if they can set that up. Turns out to be better, but they're able to find 3 kills. London are still spawning out towards the back, so this is the perfect case scenario right now for Paris. If they can get at least a good chunk of time here, you'll be fine. But contesting it, focusing on these spawns for the next P3 are going to be so big. You have a couple players from London already trying to attack 2 P3. What can John do? Can he find his kill towards top plat? He finds one. Can he find the second? He does not. And now off the rotation, Nasty has roof control.
One thing already to think about, player number 8, Jimbo, sits at 0-6 through our first 2 hills. Definitely gonna need to turn it around. He's been the guy often off of those rotations, and that really tells you all the things that you need to hear. Finally able to find that first kill, but it's Nasty being the problem inside a line. And right now, London pretty much drunk on success. They can just seem to do no wrong off of these rotations. A great little play to break on in, and now Nasty finds himself 1-4 in a row, but could the nade help set things up as John desperately hunts his way into Fountain. The Fountain of Youth potentially, as he seems to be in form in these early engagements, up close and personal as Paris retake.
And that play all comes down to Jimbo. Jimbo stays alive in towards top fire. He influences those spawns for his teammates to spawn out towards roofs. Eventually goes on a 4-spree before he does get taken down, but at least they're able to get closer back into this game. Now being down 30 points, you have to start thinking about that rotation. Paris are here early, but you see London at least able to keep the kills stagnant. Zero trying to do everything he can from this left side field. Initial points are going to start with Paris. Can they hold the push?
Zero can possibly do. He's got the auto, he's got the MP40. The weapons prepared. Stemp gets found out field. Now going to be made aware for Paris. They know the push is in and they deal with it rather quite well. Jimbo, a total turnaround, starting off 0-6, now 7-8.
Oh, the Volk!
On the 3-spree, but now it's time for the Volk to make its debut. Nice try, LAG. We know the class. And shout out to Bryce. April Fools. The gun making its debut in the second series here at the Minnesota Major. Fortunately for them, not getting what they would have liked out of it. As Temp gets dealt with, Ravens walk away with the final 10.
Now you have to start thinking about that rotation. And look at John. He's already pushing out towards Plat. So this should allow his teammates to try to fill that gap. But Jimbo, he's still going to try to attack this from the front. He finds that opening kill. He's going to be able to set up and at least hold down the mid-map control. As Paris are going to start off with this initial time, only being down 15 points currently. All of London spawning out towards top Plat. John finds one, Jimbo finds the second. The teamwork for Paris is starting to turn up. Last player up is going to be Zero. He gets taken down, and now Paris Legion should be able to take the lead.
And the Volk helping lead a lot of that, and they're going to need this gun to absolutely fire right now. One nearly makes it the second, but John, they're on cue. Nasty deals with them both. A headbutt right now at P5 as Jimbo making his presence felt as well toward the bottom side. Trades aplenty, chaos, and then some around this objective. A neck-and-neck game through our first set of rotations. Paris thinking about the future while the Ravens look to grab the final 10 seconds of scrap. And right now, it is really the entire team of Ravens thriving, dominating. The Volk now in the back pocket of Nasty as he looks to extend this streak on 6. Eventually gets dropped. Not gonna be able to have that for the future if you are the London Royal Ravens. But let's step aside and see how the comms now sound for London.
Mid Danny now, timing. Mid Danny,
On that tree. Wait, Nade the stone.
Pitch is open. Yep. We got a tree, we got a tree. One shot.
I'm gonna push it one second.
Mid Danny, throw me one shot. Mid Danny. Out you.
Stone on you.
Ten's at one shot, they've got one shot. Their side.
Watch that. I got two.
Mid.
I'm trying to keep mid.
You. Stop church, Joey, stop church.
Right side.
In the middle, Joey.
Watch out. I've got you mid.
I've got you mid now. Go early. Want some church, John. One shot.
I think
Go right now.
I'm so weak.
Want to flash me, Plat? Yeah. He's top comms, one shot. Com steps. Jimbo.
On my left, yeah?
Yeah, you was.
Take our time, okay?
I'm waiting on the back.
Come. Yeah, give me a sec. I'm coming right with you, Marcus. Give me a sec. You got need Plat.
Some great comms there to the London Royal Ravens. Really, everybody getting involved in that communication. A big moment right now, and really, it's also the young gun stepping up. The rookie Gizmo heavily involved in those comms as they look to make the break once more here at Column. Afro, so great in positions like this as Paris do their best to try to prevent this from going the opposite direction. They've got the time, 38 very valuable points left at Column.
And this is good for Paris to get right back into this game. They were able to control top Plat. Now with 30 seconds left, you see all of London starting to spawn out towards P5. Temp trying to hold down or at least pick up this kill onto Nasty. The down 10 points are currently Paris. You have to start thinking about that rotation though. It's a good 20, but you know that the P3 can be a money hill. As London, they're gonna actually flip spawn. This should allow Paris just basically give this up. Let's just start backing up, start thinking about that rotation. One player's gonna come right behind Gizmo. Beautiful kill coming in on Temp. And now only being down by 15 points, Paris Legion with a great hold here can take the lead.
Yeah, that is an excellent play right there, Jay. Out of the Legion, they flip at the final 20 seconds, and now they've got themselves set up quite nicely. Despite the break from Ravens, it could work out quite nicely for the Legion. Only down by a few, trying to even this game back on up. Attempt does get handled. Zero and Afro making a solid dent right now in this setup. And currently locking down the time. Ravens have opened the door, But can John be there to try to close it back? Not a whole lot of teammate support. As Legion spawning over toward roofs, another break again from this London team who has seen a lot of success in this very moment. The Volk brought on out, but as it falls, as the gun hits the floor, it still will be an open hard point. Paris still close, John falls, but it's at least a very good attempt from the Ravens to hold off this time, of which Paris were really hoping to get it.
You still have one player here, though. Trying to at least contest this. Nasty able to win a huge one-on-one versus Temp. So now London, up by 18 points. You have to start thinking about that rotation. John is able to find a two-piece. So this is going to set up Paris Legion off the rip. Afro finds one towards top church. Now the teamwork from him and Nasty. Can they try to eliminate this player in Jimbo? Jimbo wins a huge one-on-one. Now only being down 9 points, Paris Legion are holding. All of London trying to spawn out towards field. Temp with 1, Temp with almost 2. He gets taken down, but Paris down by 5. Should be able to take the lead here.
Paris good the spawns in the back. Player number 3, Gizmo, doing everything he can to try to make a problem happen toward the backside. A correct 2v2 trade inside of church, but a 0 falls. Afro gets dealt with as well. Paris not only get the team wipe, but they take the advantage in this game number 4. 20 points left at church, and Jimbo finally found out. Gives the comms over to Paris. As they look to falter, it could be another break for Ravens. They're able to get on through. Final 10 awarded to the boys in red.
Now early rotation for Paris. Towards his P5, Jimbo's in a great corner. He does give up his positioning. Does he find the kill? He finds the first, almost finds the second, but Afro with the trade. So now the initial setup should be here for Paris Legion as Temp is able to win a huge one-on-one. But look at the route from Zero. Zero's gonna take his talents all the way around top roofs. He's gonna be able to flip those spawns. Paris Legion are just growing this lead. 45 seconds left.
Chaos at P5 as always. Paris here early. Does that investment work out for him? So far it has. Zero gets dropped once more from the Volk. There is something about this gun. I hope Accuracy and Slasher are not watching this game. Let's go for it that way. Nice little moment there for Deb. He eventually gets found out. Paris reached double century mark as John and co continue to clean out this P5. Gonna have the advantage as we enter into the third set of rotations. London will grab once more of the scraps. Temp not giving this one out without a fight. No, Temp says absolutely not. I'm fighting for every single second possible. A great little angle here for Afro as he looks to stop what could be, as we said, the hill that brings Ravens back, or that continues to provoke Paris.
Well, Paris able to find the initial two-piece. So now the pressure's gonna come in from you. Pressure's coming in from back barn side. As they're able to find every single kill, they take control. Trades going back and forth. Gravity trying to do everything he can from this tree area. At least you want to stay alive. 40 seconds here. Paris can still close it out. Nades going back. There's so much action going down right now. Paris is trying to close it out here.
They absolutely are. As we said, Ravens, they've got the preferred positioning, not just in the hill, but for those next rotations. They cannot afford for Chain to go through. They have to break on in. They call upon Temp. He gets found out. London sit firmly right now in the objective. Continuing to win the trades, continuing to win the overall team fights as they are within 12 points of walking away with this lead. As London are prepared for next, Legion eventually are able to make their way through a neck-and-neck game. But Ravens prepared now at column. It's rather going to all be onto this retake now for Paris.
And Ravens is the first time for P2 that they're going to have to spawn, so they know the push is coming in from the back. What can Nasty do? He takes down one, but eventually Paris Legion are able to flip it. Pressure coming in from the front. Trades going back and forth, but Gizmo's able to take down 2. So now all of Paris Legion spawning out towards the back. London, you want to do a great job at least keeping it in contest, but tie game. Both teams can close it out here. Let's get it on.
Here we go, final little plays. 1v1s aplenty, but Ravens still winning these fights and walking away with the seconds. As you said, Jay, either team can win it here. That especially sits right now for the Ravens. Nasty pulls out the pistol, but it's Gravity who wins the 1v1. Paris still with life, still with life. 2 come through, but it's the nade that silences Gravity. They can still win it here. The contest for a moment, and now it's all gonna be on to this rotation.
Here comes Temp. Temp is the only player from Paris Legion. What can he do? He has to at least find the initial. He finds one towards top fire. He's gonna allow his teammates to eventually follow him up. Can they find these players on towards the point? Jimbo with the second. You see London, they're starting to spawn out towards the middle of the map. Spawns right now for Paris Legion towards roof, but London are in.
John's here. A current 2-point game, but London are holding on. London are holding on, and they will close out the game in dramatic fashion. It came all the way to the end. But London will lock up this series and advance in the elimination side. The Battle of Europe belonging still for the Ravens.
What an insane hardball between both of these teams. 250 to 248, the ending score. Even though Paris Legion do fall in this series, they look a lot better than they usually do. Throughout stage 2, they go 1-4 in their matches. They were able to win one series versus Toronto. But then for them to be down 0-2, to show the improvements in their control was big. And then to keep a map that they usually do not see a lot of success on in Tuscan, where the Ravens are a little bit better, sitting at 5-3, they kept the game close. Everyone on Paris Legion was starting to step up. Temp with that Volk in his hand was going on streaks. But you see, it all came down to this rotation. Temp does find one. He eventually allows his teammates to get back into the play. But London, they do a great job of just staying alive on the point. You see that one player in number 2, which is Nasty, he spawns right in the middle of the map. So trades are going back and forth. London and Gizmo are able to find 2. Now they're influencing the spawns for Paris Legion to spawn on towards top roofs. They hold the head glitches, they get the kills, and they're able to close out this map number 4 and win the series in a 3-1 fashion.
The dramatic game, especially toward the end, is Zero letting him know. I know he was down a little bit on Twitter yesterday, not super happy about the loss versus Florida. A 3-0 loss yesterday, but they do answer, and that will be the end of the road already for the Paris Legion, a team who's seen a lot of team changes so far, but as we said, Jay, a much better performance. You got to keep things in mind, right? This is considered to be a top 3 team in the game. It had a number of different close performances, but it's difficult, right? This elimination bracket is a gauntlet right now.
100%, man. And then for London, it's good for them to bounce back after a touch loss yesterday. So now they're keeping their top 3 a little bit more alive now, as they're going to continue through the losers bracket. For Paris Legion, one piece of advice from me is, like, get your team in a facility. Let me tell you, Jimbo's a completely different player when he's sitting side by side with his teammates. Online, he's a 0.7, but he came in here and dropped like a 1.04 or something like that. So he definitely stepped up. I'm looking forward to see what Paris can progress going forward.
Yeah, you saw some signs of life, like we said, from this Paris team. A few different players stepping up. You saw Gravity really getting loud in that control. We saw some great performances from Jimbo. Temp was the same old self, and there were times where John just seemed unkillable on the map. A great little performance there for Paris, but as we said, it is not going to be their day as they end things out top 12. And who knows, maybe the start for London. They've got another game today, but we'll see who they will be facing off against as we'll bring back in the desk, guys. An entertaining series. We always love the Battle of Europe. It delivered, but it's the result we expected to see. Ravens walk away with the 3-1, but Belly, there were some really close maps there.
It was close. I actually thought we were going to go to a game 5 for a second, but when it came to that third set of rotations, Paris finally caught on. They were up by between 10 to 15 points, but it all came down to the last hit where Gizmo got that double kill.
Yeah, and I think they actually lost the series earlier in that map. Like, it's just tough, man. Donnie spawned up on that P5 rotation to P1. It was him and Jimbo. He pushes up mid-map, and he tries to cut off mid, and then Jimbo dies, and he actually rotates to P1. Donnie hits P5 scrap once again, and the spawns flip. Then London has a favorable side for the P1, and that is where I really think they lost the game there, because it was a dogfight back and forth. They lose spawns for P2, and obviously London run away with it. So I think they'll go back, watch that, and be a little bit frustrated. But Don was frying throughout that map. Just had a little bit of a rogue play on that rotation.
But also when it came to the first hard point as well, that was also a tightly contested matchup.
No, it really was right on that Berlin. I think Paris kept it close. There's one hill that really sticks out to me. I think it's the second P1 Paris, it was like a 4 versus 3, but London held on, and then they took those 50 to 60 points and really just propelled themselves forward. I mean, Paris played well.
They did.
I mean, they are looking better. They are improving. It's just tough when you have to, run into a team who's top 3 in points right now in your losers round 1 matchup. That's not what you're expecting.
Oh, big time. And it was good seeing a lot of those players step up in a big way. Shout out to everybody on that Paris Legion squad. Most importantly, shout out to the Nero Ravens, who will be moving on. They have a game-fueled victory spotlight with the one and only Gizmo. Take it away.
Thank you so much, guys. All right, Gizmo, let's chat. Yesterday, probably a tough pill to swallow, not the start you expected, but you come into this one, it's a crazy series, you get the win, you got to be feeling better, but talk me through into that hard point. That had to have been nuts.
Yeah, well, so our main issue
at this event at the moment from yesterday, which is the reason why we feel like we lost, is comms.
Okay.
That series there, I wasn't like spamming call. I was trying to keep like a cool head, like not too much hype, although that is a big factor for our team. At the end, just a cool head. Like we know where they're coming. Like if they come around the right, they don't have enough time. They have to come fire, be quick. Got the 2-piece, then obviously Byron clutched up a nil, and yeah, it's composure out with lads.
Well, I guess I kind of want to hear from you about the comms, because it's got to be tough. I think I heard someone say, maybe it was your coaching staff before we did the walkout stuff, that not too high, not too low. Like you kind of want to find a middle ground.
No, I mean that's Kev, that's our coach. He was like a basketball player back in his day. But that's what we focus on. We have the talent to match anyone. For top 2 teams, 100% we've got the talent. But it's the experience which comes with common. Like that you get better comms as the experience goes under like high pressure situations like this. But yeah, we try and keep a cool head, focus on our comms, it's the main thing, and then let our talent do the talking, because we've got the talent to match.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was awesome to see you guys get the win. Now, I want to talk a little bit, after the first major, you tweeted out all sorts of stuff. You were dealing with some physical issues. You had family members battling through some health conditions. It's been tough. People forget sometimes you're here, like, visiting in a way, like you're not at home.
Yeah.
Is it going to be nice with a little bit of a break after this to get back and see everybody?
100%. Like, being at home is like a mental reset for everyone. Europeans, like, people don't understand how mentally, like,
I'm sure,
straining it is to be away from family, 14-hour flights, 16-hour travel days. It's so long. But being with the boys, having good relationships, that helps. But yeah, like, I think we're all looking forward to doing well at this event, getting better than top 3. That's our goal, get better. And then afterwards, we get a little reset button and come back even stronger for stage 3.
Well, hey, you get the win. It was a tough battle, but you do it. You continue on. It was a pleasure talking to you. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
That was Gizmo. Now back over to the desk.
Great interview about Gizmo and aLLeY. That was a good treat to start off the day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Jimbo looking like an animal out there in the control. Zero is Big Daddy when it comes to search and destroy. And now we're moving on to the next series. But ultimately, to put a bow on top of that, I mean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, for me, it was actually Nasty. Nasty was frying this entire series, especially when it seemed like Afro had a little bit of a slow start in that opening hardpoint. Nasty, he insta-spawns up in that game 4 hardpoint in mid-map, and he rotates instantly on the map. There's still 10 seconds. Parents still could have won off it. He was like, I'm trusting my teammates. We never rotate, so if we're going to rotate at any time, it's going to be right now. And so he was really the highlight for me for London Royal Ravens.
Do you think today is going to be as crazy as yesterday with the matchups that we have coming up?
I think so. At least 1 or 2.
Hey, we got a 3-1. You know what I mean? We got a fourth map.
It's already started.
Got a 4th map. So.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we're going to have the Los Angeles Guerrillas face off against the Toronto Ultra. When it comes to Toronto, nobody expected this team to start off in the losers bracket, but we're going to see what that run is going to come into right after this break. We'll see you soon for some more Call of Duty Major 2 action.